Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a look at Chanakya's 7 Secrets of Leadership. And I think what's interesting about this book is we're going to kind of see how these ancient principles are applied in a modern context.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about Chanakya, this brilliant strategist advisor from way back. And this book takes his ideas and throws them right into the 21st century. Specifically, we're looking at D Sivanandhan. This guy ran a police force of like 200,000 people dealing with organized crime, terrorism, you name it, high-stakes stuff.
Talk about pressure. So right off the bat, Chanakya lays out 7 secrets to leadership. The first one is all about the leader themselves, called the Swami. And some of these qualities he lists are, well, demanding, to say the least. Got to be intelligent, dynamic, truthful, a person of your word.
Oh, but there's more. He also says a leader's got to be grateful, always eager to learn, and porsty. This is a big one. Easy to approach. Those are tough standards, even by today's standards.
You're telling me. But what's fascinating is how Sivanandhan, the guy we're focusing on, he actually embodied these things. It's not just talk. The book's full of stories that show this in action.
It's true. And it's not just one big story either. It's like all these little things he did. Like his office door was always open, literally. People felt comfortable walking right in, talking to him directly, even people from vulnerable communities.
Right. Like that wasn't just a policy for him. He created this whole environment of respect, of approachability. It made a real difference.
It wasn't just being physically present either. It was his whole way of being. Like he really listened, treated everyone with dignity. Didn't matter if you were the highest ranking officer or just starting out.
Yeah. You can see how that would build trust within a massive organization like that.
Totally. And there's this little detail I loved. He made a point of thanking everyone, even for seemingly small contributions.
Imagine the impact of a leader consistently expressing gratitude like that. It's got to make a difference, right?
Oh, absolutely. It shows you're paying attention, that you value everyone's effort. That kind of genuine appreciation, it spreads, creates a good vibe throughout the whole place.
You know, that's a good point for us all to think about. How often do we express gratitude to those around us? Are we creating that kind of positive ripple effect? We should all ask ourselves that.
Definitely. And maybe drop a comment below. Let us know your thoughts on that.
Great idea.
Okay.
Now, moving on to the second secret Chanakya talks about. This one's about the advisor, or as he calls it, the Amatya. Basically, it's about the importance of seeking wise counsel, building a strong network of people you can rely on for advice.
It's like having your own personal board of directors, right? Even the best leaders need guidance sometimes.
Absolutely. And Sivanandhan totally got that. He had these daily meetings with his core team. But it wasn't just about delegating tasks. He was actively gathering information, trying to see things from every angle.
Right, to make better decisions, ultimately. And he didn't just rely on his inner circle either. He sought out experts from all sorts of fields. Security, intelligence, management.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like he was constantly pushing himself to learn more, challenge his own assumptions.
That's inspiring. So it begs the question for all of us. Who are our trusted advisors? Do we have that kind of diverse network to help us navigate tough situations?
It's easy to stay in our comfort zones, but surrounding ourselves with different perspectives can be game-changing.
For sure. Now, secret number 3 might seem obvious, but it's easy to overlook. The Janpada. That's Chanakya's word for essentially the people. He recognized, even way back then, how important it is to understand and serve the needs of those you lead. We might call them stakeholders today.
And this is where Sivanandhan's actions really shine. He went above and beyond the typical police leader role, actively connecting with the community, trying to build real trust.
Like that story about how he worked with the Indian Hotel and Restaurant Association, right, to deal with those threatened calls they were getting?
That's a fantastic example. Instead of just reacting to crime, he gave them the tools and knowledge to protect themselves.
Proactive leadership.
Absolutely. He understood that real security comes from working together, everyone taking responsibility. And it wasn't just about crime either. He created specific programs for vulnerable groups, a helpline, a website for senior citizens, women, and children.
Yeah, a leader's got to look out for those who need it most. It's a good reminder for all of us. How well do we understand the needs of our stakeholders? Are we doing enough to address their concerns, build real trust?
It's a crucial question.
It is. Leadership isn't just about checking boxes and hitting targets. It's about making a positive impact on people's lives. So on that note, let's move on to the 4th secret. This one's about Durg, or infrastructure.
And it's not just about buildings and roads, right?
Right. Chanakya understood that strong foundations are essential for any organization's success, both physical and digital.
Right. And Sivanandhan, he got this, upgrading police stations, improving housing for officers.
Trying to boost morale, make their work lives better.
Exactly. But he also invested a ton in technology, computerization, training centers.
He was prepping the force for a world that's constantly changing. You got to keep learning, adapting to new technology. There's this awesome story about how he transformed the Mumbai airport immigration office.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
It used to be a nightmare, total bureaucratic mess. But he turned it into a model of efficiency.
It shows how even small improvements to infrastructure, like even something as mundane as an airport immigration office, can have a big impact.
So what about our own infrastructure? What needs work, whether it's the actual systems we use or even just our mindsets? What do we need to change to build that solid foundation for success? Let us know your thoughts down below.
Yeah, share your insights. Always love to hear from you guys.
Now we're getting into a topic that's, well, kind of a personal passion for me. Kosa, or the treasury. Basically sound financial management.
Chanakya knew that this is key for any leader, whether you're running a whole country or a small team. Got to be smart about money.
In Sivanandhan, he was a pro. Not only was he great at securing government funding, he also found creative ways to partner with corporations, leverage those social responsibility programs they have, creating win-win situations.
That's a great point. It's not just about asking for money. It's about finding ways to benefit everyone involved.
And he was all about long-term solutions. Like, remember his work to establish the Thane Police School?
Oh, yeah. That was a massive project.
He knew that investing in education, it pays off down the line. It's about building a better future, not just putting out fires.
And that applies to all of us, right? Whether it's our personal finances or managing budgets at work, these principles hold true.
Speaking of teams, Chanakya's sixth secret is all about Dan, which basically means building a strong team. He knew that leadership isn't a one-man show.
Definitely not. You got to empower people, create an environment where they can thrive.
Sivanandhan really got that. He wasn't just about discipline and barking orders. He genuinely cared about his officers, their well-being.
He did all sorts of things to build camaraderie, like organizing sports events, cultural programs, anything to bring people together.
And he was big on training, professional development, investing in his team's growth.
And he found this balance, between holding people accountable, but also making them feel appreciated. Not an easy thing to do.
It's a great reminder that leadership is about relationships, trust, creating that positive environment. So how do you approach team building? How do you lead? Let's hear your take on this. Drop a comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives like this one.
Always appreciate you guys tuning in.
All right, finally, we come to the seventh secret. Mitra, or the ally. Chanakya knew that a leader's influence extends way beyond their immediate circle. It's about those strategic alliances, the friendships that can help you achieve bigger things.
And Sivanandhan, he was a master networker. But it wasn't superficial. He had genuine connections everywhere. Media, medical professionals, business leaders. He really cultivated these relationships.
And it was all about collaboration, finding common ground, working towards shared goals. One of the coolest examples is how he worked with the media.
Oh, yeah. He got that public perception matters.
He didn't avoid journalists. He embraced them. He saw the power of sharing the good work the police were doing, building trust with the community.
He even started the Mumbai Protector magazine, which was a brilliant way to communicate directly with the public.
Transparency, authenticity. It's a great lesson for all of us. How can we use communication to build stronger relationships with our stakeholders?
Absolutely. And it wasn't just media. He worked with medical professionals to improve the health and well-being of his officers, too. Organized health checkups, printed booklets with health tips, even helped establish a police hospital.
That's amazing. He knew that taking care of his team physically and mentally, it makes a huge difference.
He was thinking about the big picture. And then there's this great story about how he used his business connections to get funding for things like bulletproof jackets, gym equipment, things that really mattered.
He was always finding creative solutions, looking out for his people.
It's so inspiring to see how he put these principles into action.
He truly understood that leadership is about empowering others, building strong teams, creating that culture where everyone can succeed.
And we'll have more stories about that in part 2 of this deep dive, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And hey, while you're at it, hit that like button and share this video with anyone who might benefit from these leadership lessons.
Great idea. We'll be back with more insights from Chanakya's 7 Secrets of Leadership and the incredible story of D Sivanandhan.
See you soon. Welcome back. We were just talking about how Sivanandhan, he really understood the power of allies, those connections that help you achieve big things.
Yeah, he was a master networker. But it wasn't just about collecting contacts. It was about building genuine relationships.
Exactly. Like one of the most striking examples is his relationship with the media. He knew public perception mattered, and instead of avoiding journalists, he actually worked with them.
He saw them as partners, not enemies. And he had the power of storytelling, right? Sharing those positive stories about the police, it helped build trust with the community.
Oh, absolutely. And he even started a magazine, the Mumbai Protector, to connect with the public directly, highlight all the good work being done.
That's smart. It wasn't just PR spin either. It was about transparency, being real with people. It's a good lesson for any leader, really. How can we use communication to build those strong relationships?
It's crucial. And it wasn't just the media. Sivanandhan also tapped into his network of medical professionals to create health initiatives for the police force.
Really?
Yeah. He organized health checkups, printed booklets with health tips. He even helped set up a police hospital with help from a private healthcare group.
Wow, that's going above and beyond.
Yeah.
It shows he cared about his officers' well-being, not just their work.
Exactly. He was thinking holistically. A healthy team is a more effective team, right? And it reminds us that leadership is about more than just hitting targets. It's about taking care of your people.
Absolutely. And speaking of taking care of people, there's this incredible story about how Sivanandhan used his business connections to get funding for essential equipment, like bulletproof vests and gym equipment.
Yeah. It shows how those strategic alliances can pay off. He wasn't just asking for handouts. He was creating win-win situations.
It's like he was always thinking outside the box, finding creative solutions.
Yeah.
Which is something we could all probably learn from, especially when resources are tight. Sometimes you got to collaborate, think differently.
For sure. So we've been talking about Mitra, the ally, but it's also worth circling back to Janpada, remembering the citizens. Chanakya emphasized serving the people you're responsible for. And Sivanandhan's approach to community engagement, it goes beyond just talking. He actually listened to people's concerns, took action.
And there's this powerful story in the book about a woman from the red light district. She came to his office seeking help, but she was so hesitant to even sit down. She felt like because of her profession, she didn't deserve respect.
Yeah, it would have been easy to dismiss her or treat her like she was less than. But Sivanandhan, he insisted she have tea with him, listen to her story with respect, empathy.
He saw her as a human being, worthy of dignity, regardless of her circumstances.
It's a powerful reminder that leadership is about inclusivity, making sure everyone feels heard and valued.
That story really stuck with me, and it makes me wonder, have you ever experienced that? Where someone in a position of authority treated you with that kind of genuine respect? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories.
All right, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about Durg infrastructure. Chanakya understood that strong foundations are essential for stability, for growth. And it's not just about physical buildings. It's about systems, processes, technology, everything that supports the work.
And Sivanandhan, he was all about strengthening those foundations, upgrading police stations, improving housing for officers, making sure they had decent working conditions.
Right. It shows he cared about their well-being.
But he also invested in the soft side of things, computerization, technology upgrades, training centers.
He knew the world was changing fast. To stay ahead of the curve, the police force needed the best tools and training. There's this awesome story about how he transformed the Mumbai airport immigration office. It used to be a bureaucratic nightmare, but he streamlined everything, introduced new technology, even focused on soft skills training for the officers.
Wow, that's impressive. It's a great example of how infrastructure improvements, even in seemingly mundane areas, can have a big impact on people's lives. Makes you think about your own infrastructure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What systems need streamlining? Are we investing in the right tools, the right training? What can we do to build that solid foundation for success? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Always love to hear from you guys.
All right, so let's move on to something near and dear to my heart. Kosa, the treasury. It's all about financial management.
Right. Chanakya knew that being a good steward of resources, that's crucial for any leader. Got to ensure financial stability.
Absolutely. And Sivanandhan was great at this. He was really good at securing government funding for important projects.
But he didn't stop there. He also tapped into corporate social responsibility programs, those partnerships, finding those win-win situations.
Like his work to establish the Thane Police School, that was a huge undertaking.
It wasn't just about educating police officers' children, though. It was about investing in the community as a whole. He saw a need and found a creative way to address it.
It's about thinking long term, and it reminds us that our financial decisions, they can have a lasting impact.
It's not just about big projects either. It's about making smart choices with every resource we have, whether it's our personal budget or a company's finances.
Being responsible, thinking ahead.
So moving on to Chanakya's next secret, this one's all about the team. He calls it DAND. Think of it as the army, but in a broader sense.
Yeah.
Any group working toward the common goal.
And Sivanandhan's leadership, it was all about empowering his team. He found this amazing balance between discipline and genuine care.
He got that a strong team is built on trust, respect, shared purpose. He organized all sorts of things to bring the police force together. Sports events, cultural programs.
He was big on training and development, too, making sure his officers had the skills and knowledge they needed.
One of the things he was really good at was spotting talent, nurturing it. He recognized that everyone has unique strengths, and he encouraged people to develop those strengths.
He was also a great mentor, always willing to offer guidance and support.
And that created a lot of loyalty within the police force. People felt valued, motivated to do their best.
And that, of course, led to better results.
It's a good reminder for all of us. How are we empowering our teams? Are we creating that kind of environment where people can thrive?
Leadership isn't about control, it's about collaboration, and it's about investing in the people around us.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Chanakya's 7 Secrets of Leadership. We've been talking about D Sivanandhan's incredible career and how he put these ancient principles into action. Last time, we were exploring the idea of Mitra, the ally, and how Sivanandhan built this amazing network of connections.
Yeah. He really understood that leadership is not a solo mission. It's about collaboration, building bridges, and leveraging the strengths of others. He was a fantastic networker, but it went way beyond just collecting business cards.
Absolutely. He cultivated genuine relationships with people from all walks of life, journalists, doctors, business leaders, and he always approached these connections with a win-win mindset. He wasn't just looking for favors, he was looking for ways to benefit everyone involved.
Exactly. And one of the best examples of this is his work with the media. He knew public perception was crucial, so instead of shying away from journalists, he actively engaged with them.
He saw them as partners, not adversaries. And he understood the power of storytelling, right? Sharing the positive work the police were doing could really help build trust with the community.
Oh, for sure. And he even launched the Mumbai Protector magazine as a way to communicate directly with the public, to highlight all the good work being done by the police.
That's so smart. And it wasn't just about PR or trying to spin things. It was about transparency, being real with people. It's a valuable lesson for any leader, really. How can we use communication to build those strong relationships with our stakeholders?
It's essential. And it wasn't just the media he worked with. Sivanandhan also tapped into his network of medical professionals to create health initiatives for the police force. He organized health checkups, distributed booklets with health tips. He even helped establish a police hospital with support from a private healthcare group.
That's incredible. He went above and beyond to take care of his officers' well-being. It shows that he cared about them as people, not just employees.
He was definitely thinking holistically. A healthy team is a more effective team, right?
Absolutely. And there's this amazing story in the book about how Sivanandhan used his business connections to secure funding for essential equipment, things like bulletproof vests and gym equipment.
Yeah. He was always looking for ways to improve things for his team, even if it meant thinking outside the box and going beyond traditional funding models.
It's really inspiring to see how he put Chanakya's principle of Mitra into action. He understood that building strong alliances is about finding people who share your values and are willing to work together for a common purpose.
And he really demonstrated that leadership is not about control, it's about collaboration.
Exactly. It's about empowering others, building strong teams, and creating a culture where everyone can thrive. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Chanakya's 7 Secrets of Leadership, we want to leave you with this final thought. Leadership is a journey, not a destination.
It's about continuous learning, growth, and adaptation. And it's about making a positive impact on the world around you.
Whether you're leading a team at work, a community organization, or even your own family, Chanakya's wisdom has something to offer.
So take these principles to heart, find your own allies, build strong foundations, and never stop learning.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Book Reviews One for more insightful content, and share it with anyone who might benefit from these timeless leadership lessons.
Thanks for joining us.